Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 196 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Thanks for being here. You know, I'm always grateful that you're here. Okay, now, I'm not sure how many of you guys have fur babies. And by fur babies, I mean dogs or cats or ferrets or hamsters, whatever. But if you take them to the vet very often, you know what I mean when I say they're like having a child. Now, I don't have children, but it's what I imagine it'd be like. I mean, it's as expensive to take them to the vet as a human to the doctor. But we love them, so we do it anyway. So Kinsey, our little Yorkie, who seems to always have an allergy issue or a tooth issue or eyes, you name it. Finally, so my husband decided we're going to get her own insurance. So he does some research and he finds the right one, and now we have insurance for Kinsey. Around our house, just to kind of give you an idea, Eric does the bills. That's just his role. I mean, he's a pilot, so he's very methodical about everything, where I am, let's just say, less methodical. But anyway, we get the first bill from the vet that we're going to file on her new insurance. I mean, I take her to the vet and I save the receipt and I give it to him so he can file it. After about a week, he still hasn't had time to do it. So I say, just give it to me, I'll do it. In my mind, just like with Eric, and now I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be such a hassle. It's going to take forever. Is it even worth it? All those things you come up with in your head when you think you don't know how to do something. So guess what? Now it sits on my desk for a week. And every time I look at it, I have these thoughts about time and having to figure it out and all that. Well, one day I just had it with looking at it. And I was just like, okay, let me just see how long it'll take and try to figure this out. You guys, literally, it took me 3 minutes. They had it so easy to file a claim that I was done in 3 minutes. So we both had all this anxiety thinking it was going to be a hassle or that we weren't going to be able to figure it out without help at least, that we both avoided it for weeks. And we were really kind of frustrated with it. All to figure out it was super easy and literally took 3 minutes. Now, being honest, Eric listens to every single one of my episodes, which I'm so glad he does. But part of me kind of wishes he wouldn't hear this because I'd kind of like him to think I'm a genius and that I just figured this hard thing out. But that was not the case. So here's the truth, honey. All right. My point in this story is we both were failing in advance. We were avoiding something we didn't know how to do because we told ourselves it was going to be a hassle or we may not figure it out or it could take forever when none of that happened. When I first started my podcast, I didn't know how to do it, but I did it anyway. When I first put it out, I was also worried that no one was listening, and they weren't at first. So is there something you've been wanting to do, but you're afraid of what other people think, so you just are putting it aside? Or maybe you aren't sure how to do it, so you just blow it off. You're failing in advance. And here's the thing. People are going to judge you regardless. So just be proud of yourself and go for it. I'd rather go for something and fail than never try because I feared failure. And let's say you do fail. Just get up and try again. I mean, failures picture them as like bricks or stones on a path leading to your success. They're actually helpful. I mean, if you haven't done something before, you're going to have to figure it out, especially if it's hard. That's the fun part of life. And don't beat yourself up if you don't get it right out of the gate. Just dust off and try again. Now, I've talked about getting my life coaching certification, and it's uncomfortable. Part of the process is you have to practice real coaching. Well, I had my first real coaching client this week, and I was nervous about it because I want to be good right out of the gate. And well, you're just not going to be. But you're going to get better and better as long as you keep going. Abraham always says, think about a little baby just starting to walk. I mean, we don't look at the baby when it falls over and over again and say, get up, you little dummy. I mean, that sounds awful. But we don't say, well, it's never going to happen. Look how awful you are at attempting to walk. Of course we don't. Thankfully, babies are super determined to get their mobility so they can wreak all the havoc they want. So they absolutely never quit until they succeed. And then they get real good at it. And they just keep doing it over and over, and the repetition makes them excel at walking, and then that leads to running. And if it's their desire, maybe they even eventually become a dancer. But none of that's possible if they stop trying, or if they're so afraid that they never even start. When you don't even try, you fail in advance. And all those possibilities, well, that's what they'll keep being, simply possibilities. Because your desire to do it isn't going away. You'll just try to forget about it by consuming social media, eating, drinking, and every once in a while, when you get a moment of clarity, that possibility is going to pop back up, and see if you're ready to try again. What possibilities are you keeping yourself from because you're afraid of what may or may not happen? When you desire something, when you have a calling to something, there's an absolute reason for it. Answer it. Follow it. Follow it without fear. That's the attitude it takes. To really be successful at anything, you have to be able to take fear and just run with it. The attitude of, I'm absolutely not going to quit no matter what. You'll eventually get where you're supposed to be. I promise you that. And notice I didn't say you're going to reach that exact goal. I said you're going to get to where you're supposed to be. Expect that you're going to fail, probably multiple times, but eventually you'll get there. In my opinion, the only true failure is quitting or never even starting, which means you're failing in advance. My challenge to you this week is to do something you've been afraid to do. Something that's been on your mind, but you haven't allowed it to happen for fear of what people think, or for fear of not being good at it, or whatever your brain is cooking up for you as a reason. Do it anyway. At least give yourself the chance. Never fail in advance. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.